What's going on, y'all? About to check out the non-amazing Lucas. Apparently, he went on a stream recently, or a show, I should say. Piers Morgan and got embarrassed. Nasty work. Let's check this out. Don't forget to hit the like button. Also watch more videos. All right, let's get straight into it. We're gonna be watching a video from a channel that I think is dope. It's called The Actual Justice Warrior, if I'm not mistaken. All right, let's see what's going down. Switch the screen. Yeah, what's happening?
Look at what you've done. And I can see somebody who is abhorrent and despicable and actually evil. Actually, the stuff when you target someone's widow as she grieves.
Once again, I disagree with the word targeting.
No. I'm talking about me personally, my view of what you've done. I don't care about your motivation in terms of other people's inappropriate memes, many of which I may well agree with you about. But that doesn't mean that
I look like homegirl from The Biggest Loser. I look a lot like her.
I then go and do it myself, or worse, because that makes me even more inhuman and abhorrent.
You know, I really do hate Piers Morgan's show the more that I think about it, because essentially what the premise of so many of his episodes actually is that he will find somebody who posts the most incendiary, ridiculous, over-the-top take. They post this, by the way, for attention. Then he...
Oh yeah, that's exactly what his show is. I thought everybody knew that. That's what like news in mainstream media pretty much is in general. There's variations of that, in my personal opinion.
He will bring that person on the show, thus giving him that attention, broadcast the thing that Piers is about to condemn to a much larger audience, all so that Piers Morgan could say, I think that's reprehensible in his British accent, all while he rakes in the cash. It's absolutely disgusting when you think about it. And a perfect example, a perfect distillation of this premise is the recent episode that featured the amazing Lucas, who, by the way, is a guy who used to be a right-wing YouTuber, but then decided that he was going to flip to be a black radical because he started becoming increasingly uncomfortable with the failures among the black population in the United States of America. So he went into full denial of those failures. He now talks about post-traumatic slave syndrome and all sorts of ridiculous things like that. And essentially,
a good explanation of who he is. Can't find that's pretty accurate.
He went from a guy who would do vaguely intro to conservative basics, right-wing talking points that weren't even that interesting in the first place, to a guy who basically covers up all the problems in the black community, much like a family that has a destructive alcoholic in it ends up not wanting people on the outside to know about that alcoholic and would rather have the family suffer than actually suffer the embarrassment of confronting reality. That's who Amazing Lucas is, an anti-white absolute loser who, again, can't take responsibility for his own life, doesn't want black people to...
Yeah. And he's pushing that. He wants black people to think the same.
Take responsibility for their own lives. And in addition to that, thinks that putting white people down ends up helping black people in some ridiculous and absurd way. And this is what we're going to talk about today. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/.
Hey, shout out to him. Check me out on Patreon. All right, see, let's go back. I don't want to miss anything. A lot of you guys kept telling me I need to check this out. I know I'm late, but I've been working on a project, a very important and big project. So, you know, bear with me. I'm trying to, whenever I have the time to, get to the nitty gritty.
/join.
You've posted some messages about Charlie Kirk on your Instagram, which we're going to show here. One is a post that's a parody of a Jubilee debate. I'm doing one of these myself soon, titled Charlie Kirk versus Bullet. Can one bullet to the neck outsmart one conservative? Well, that was a short watch. Number two is a mocked up promotion poster called Kirk and Twerk at Neck of the Woods and hashtagged both Charlie Kirk and his widow. And the third was an image of a sunrise titled God Works in Mysterious Ways with the hashtag Charlie Kirk killing and praying hands as an emoji. And you're laughing as I show these. Why do you find this funny?
So remember what I said about the premise of Piers Morgan's show? The fact is, the Amazing Lucas's Instagram posts are disgusting. They're reprehensible, and obviously so. But in reality, they would not get as much play out in the world, but for the fact that Piers Morgan decided to bring them up on air in order to shame Lucas, who, again, he provided a platform to in order to do so. And by the way, a lot of people ask me to do this show or that show, and in reality, it is not up to me to be invited on these shows. So please stop telling me to go on other people's shows when I'm not.
It's the same thing. When people be trying to get me to go on Amazing Lucas show for years. It's like, Lucas, don't allow me on his show. I'm banned. I'm banned in all aspects. He see me and literally the whole panel will go silent. And he'll be like, shh, don't even say his name. And then the whole panel would just go silent. I'm like, that's pretty crazy.
Actually invited there. And B, the reason that I don't get invited to shows like the Piers Morgan show is because you don't see me doing this kind of nonsense on the internet.com in order to get attention. I'm fine growing on my own, actually telling you what I think, not just trying to gin up hysteria and shock value a la Destiny, a la the Amazing Lucas, because unlike them,
he's cooking. He's cooking, yeah. That's what a lot of these losers is doing. That's what they're trying to get off. Right? All that nastiness. Sit there and act like they care about what they're talking about. But they're just grifting. Whatever's the new trend, right? Or whatever's happening, they'll say the most extreme nastiness to get certain types of attention. That's what Lucas does. That's what he specializes in. All right? I've been able to see that. Dude's a combo. Straight combo.
I actually think the substance of my arguments hold water, and I don't want to be a clown who's brought on to perform for somebody like Piers Morgan. But again, Lucas has no hesitation in playing that role because it's all about attention for a guy like him.
Well, let me just say that I actually am a big advocate for dark humor. And I happen to have gotten a bit of a taste of that over the last, I don't know, maybe decade or so when it came to the right and their memes of George Floyd. Happy birthday being sober for 5 years. When they came to their memes of Breonna Taylor.
So much like Destiny, the Amazing Lucas ends up hiding behind a very thinly veiled justification for his own hatred towards white people. And he ends up basically saying that, oh, there's this George Floyd meme where it says 5 years sober for George Floyd. Again,
crazy. I've been saying for a long time that he hates white people. Been saying this. It's clear as day.
Who gives a damn about that? If you want to be upset about that, feel free to call out the people that are making those memes. That doesn't really excuse you mocking Charlie Kirk's assassination and then, of course, tagging his wife in that in order to get attention. Then he says Breonna Taylor gets mocked. And honestly,
I didn't know he tagged the wife. My bad for pausing so much too, guys, but I didn't know he tagged the wife. The heck? What is he doing? Why you tagging the wife? Why did he tag Charlie Kirk's wife? Well, I don't understand that. For attention. That's all it had.
We haven't really seen a lot of Breonna Taylor being made fun of. Most people agree on all sides that she's essentially an innocent victim in that particular case. It just so happens that her ex-boyfriend, the guy who was a drug dealer, ended up getting packages at her property. Her current boyfriend, who was at the property at the time with Breonna, thought that the police were actually him breaking in, so he fired at a cop, hitting the cop in the leg. The cops fired into the apartment, thinking that they were getting shot at by the drug dealer, and that ultimately ended up leading to the death of Breonna Taylor, but there isn't a lot of mockery of her.
When it came to their memes of Trayvon Martin, the Trayvon challenge, right? When it came to their memes of Tamir Rice. So I don't know what the issue is. I think I'm engaging in the freedom of speech that the right has been advocating for these last 10 years and mocking and making light of Black Death, something that Charlie Kirk himself did time and time again. And
so then he brings up Trayvon Martin, who's shot by George Zimmerman, the half Hispanic guy that the media tried to paint as a white supremacist.
Yep.
And of course, he brings up Tamir Rice, who was shot by the police in Ohio because he had a BB gun or some kind of not real handgun that looked like a gun. And the police pulled up. They tried to tell him to drop it. And then Tamir Rice ended up going for said gun, and he ultimately ended up getting shot. Now, there are criticisms, by the way, of the police in the Tamir Rice case. We've actually went over that case on this channel before. But again, these are all just thinly veiled justifications. And of course, Amazing Lucas taking the cases of these different various black people so personally that he feels like he has to go after Charlie Kirk. But in reality, one does not justify the other. And the idea that he's a proponent of dark humor, but also it's revenge, those are two conflicting explanations. Like you guys understand what's going on right here, right?
Matter of fact, I would argue that if Charlie Kirk, instead of focusing his time on black culture and black on black crime, if he had spent a modicum of his time focusing on the white youth, that perhaps he would still be with us today.
So there you have the amazing.
He's just saying ignorance. He's just blatantly just saying the most ignorant thing that he could think of.
Lucas saying that, oh, Charlie Kirk should have spent a modicum of his time focusing on the white youth. Therefore, he would be alive to this very day, as if Charlie Kirk didn't actually do that. He didn't actually engage with the youth out there in the world. But again, this is the Amazing Lucas projecting his insecurities about the absolute failures of various black communities around the country. And what he's trying to do is be like, oh, you should have talked about white youth instead of black youth, when in reality, black youth is way disproportionately more criminal. And by the way, considering the victims of black crime are disproportionately black people, what the Amazing Lucas is trying to do is protect black feelings over black lives. That's the irony of this, is that if everybody did what he wanted, which was ignore the significant problems, specifically violent crime problems among black communities, in order to spare Lucas's feelings, in order for him not to confront the issues within his own community, then in reality, that would lead to more black deaths. So again, this is just a pathetic explanation for this. It's a pathetic justification, and it just shows you the profound weakness of somebody like Amazing Lucas, which, by the way, he's about to show you again when Piers Morgan asked him directly if he's happy about Charlie Kirk's death.
Are you pleased he's dead?
No, absolutely not.
So how did you feel about his murder?
I don't think.
How did you feel about his murder?
So Piers asked him if he was happy.
He's lying
About Charlie Kirk's death, and he says, no, absolutely not. And then Piers says, how did you feel about his murder? And Lucas is going to tell us that he was happy about it because, again, he sees Charlie Kirk as a successful white man. Charlie Kirk sometimes talked about problems in black communities. Therefore, he is the enemy of the Amazing Lucas, and he somehow thinks black people will be enriched by Charlie Kirk being murdered.
How do I feel about his murder?
Yeah.
Well, I think a quote by a great author sums up the sentiment of millions of Americans around the world. And that is, some cause happiness wherever they go, others when they go. And I think that's a sentiment that is palpable amongst many Americans around the world.
So Lucas ends up using that quote right there to say that he is happy about this.
Yeah, he's blatantly saying he's happy, but he's too afraid to just say it straight up. He's using all this nasty, I'm telling you, bro. That's the way he thinks, that's the way he moves. He won't just say that he hates white people. He'll use all these nasty terms.
But of course, he does it in the most cowardly, weak way. When he's confronted again by Piers Morgan, he ends up denying it. And then he starts talking about this is why many Americans around the world ended up feeling like this, because I also have to point out that Lucas doesn't really know how to talk. He's not in command of the English language. And it's actually embarrassing to hear this man speak, especially when you actually listen to the verbiage that he's using.
Due to the hate and vitriol and bile that Charlie Kirk sowed.
So
I think there was a
just to be clear, unless I misheard you, then you are happy he died.
No, I don't think as far as happiness is an emotion that
you literally just read me a quote which implies you're happy. You talked about some people's death bring happiness.
So, of course, Lucas says, oh, he did all this hatred and bile and whatnot. He didn't. Again, he's victimizing himself. He's saying black people are the victims, even though black people are not the main character of the United States of America. They're not the main character in Charlie Kirk's life, and they're not the main character in the death of Charlie Kirk. Nobody gives a damn about your insecurity about the failures among Black Americans. Get over it, push them to succeed, and stop trying to deny the problems within those communities. In addition to that, he's going to back off like a coward, even though he just read a quote about how happy he was, again, saying it without saying it. And it's absolutely cowardly. He knows why he's on this. He has been celebrating it publicly, and yet he is in full denial of it on Piers Morgan when directly asked. Now, indirectly, he'll dance around this. He'll tell you how he really feels about this, and it just goes to show you what a scumbag he actually is.
The purpose of the quote was to say that there are some people who have caused harm and death and turmoil to other groups of people, such as Charlie Kirk, whether it's Black people, whether it's, trans people.
So again, he talks about how Charlie Kirk hurt Black people so much by talking about the actual real problems within various Black communities around the country. Again, Amazing Lucas's position is that...
But what that got to do with him celebrating Charlie Kirk's death? Right? Like, I think that Lucas is terrified, to be honest about that.
That if you have an abusive alcoholic in the family, it's more important that nobody knows outside of the family rather than, addressing the problems caused by said abusive alcoholic within the family. And then Pierce ends up asking him again, and Lucas denies it in the most cowardly way.
I heard the quote. Just to be clear, you said that the quote ends in that their death brings happiness, but you've denied that you were happy. But when you tell me a quote
I don't disagree. When
you tell me a quote like that, I presume from that quote you're implying that actually you are happy he died because he deserved it. He had it coming.
No, not at all. I don't think those are ever words that I've ever mentioned verbatim ever.
Such a brave guy Lucas is. He never said those words specifically verbatim.
He's a punk. Throws rocks and hides his hands. I've been saying this for years about Lucas. Yeah, proving himself to be a coward again.
He never used those exact words in that order.
Straight
Therefore,
coward.
you can't draw that conclusion, Pierce, which, by the way, Piers Morgan acknowledges. He points out that he quoted an author specifically to imply that he was happy, but Lucas too cowardly to address that. He also tries to pin it on other people, which again is a pattern from his own life, where he tries to blame the problems from within the Black community that are caused by members of the Black community on white people, because he's always trying to shift the blame, never can take responsibility for anything in his own life.
There is a sentiment that when someone who lives their life in evil and wickedness, according to the scripture, the power of life and death is in your tongue. And the hate and the vile and the venom that he spewed, I don't know what to tell you. As the scripture says, as he professed, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I think his focus should have been on a community that, clearly is in problem. That I find it interesting that there's more scrutiny on people who may make memes that they've done of George Floyd and other Black victims than on the white male youth that did this tragedy, as some would call it.
So you notice, by the way, that the ginger is nodding along while Lucas is spewing this absolute insanity. And again, I will point out his obsession with the white youth and problems within the white community is absolutely absurd and ass backwards, because yes, even though this person happened to be a white guy that shot Charlie Kirk, ignoring the wildly disproportionate levels of violence among Black communities in the Black youth doesn't actually help them. The irony is this guy thinks he's the big defender of Black people, but in reality, he's perfectly fine with those elevated rates of homicide.
It's just his grift. I don't actually care. Like the Dr. Umar grift. Just pretending to give a damn about Black people. It's the way he's swindling. It's pretty nasty. He represents like a certain type of person. I'm not talking about skin color, but I'm talking about the way that they act. Right? It's nasty.
He's perfectly fine excusing it. In fact, he's uncomfortable by the idea of you pointing out the reality of the situation. So essentially, he's lashing out and crying about it. And the fact that he keeps bringing this up really goes to show you how insecure he actually is. It's really genuinely pathetic.
I think this hypocrisy is ubiquitous within the right. And I think my memes expose that hypocrisy.
And what about your own personal humanity? I mean, hashtagging his widow in a mocked up promotion poster of Kirk and Twerk at Neck of the Woods. How do you justify
why would you
targeting?
do that?
Oh, well, hang on. How do you justify targeting his widow?
I think that's a bit disingenuous to use such hyperbolic language as targeting. I think it's more of a strategic plan of attack to get the message out to more people.
So one of the most
So you admitting that you attacking his wife? So you admit that you attacked his wife? Like, whoa. That's crazy. That's nasty work right there. That's super. It's like, yeah, you know, it's a strategic attack. She just lost her husband, bro. Like, what? Father of her children. And you think about attacking her right now.
impressive things about this is that Lucas has a horrible comprehension of the English language. He's like, I think it's really disingenuous of you, Pierce, to use the language of targeting. And then he proceeds to describe what he did, which is, by the way, the definition of targeting. Lucas, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? Are you off your medication? Do you need some help? Do we need to call a doctor for you, buddy? I think you're unwell.
When we saw Erica Kirk, she had a moment to speak for unity within the country, left and right. And she chose to fundraise. She then chose to use the scripture and talk, very nicely of her, past husband. And I understand that. But by that same token, there are people who were absolutely harmed by the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk put out. And that rhetoric actually codified in many cases in many states. So I think it's abhorrent and actually perverse to expect people who are harmed by his rhetoric, harmed by someone who had anti-Black.
Sometimes when he talk, I don't think he know the definition of the words he be saying. He just be saying it. Like, it's so strange. Pretty damn odd.
Anti anyone who wasn't white and Christian in his perspective. I think it's perverse to try and criticize those people or try and make them seem as if they're the bad guys.
Again, notice Lucas distancing himself from his own actions, much in the same way that he distances Black America from responsibility from their own actions. He keeps talking about how you can't expect people to do this, how people are going to react like this. And this is the reason why people are upset about this. And the crazy thing is that while he's talking about all the harm that Charlie Kirk allegedly did across the society, oh my God, he hurt all the Blacks and the non-white Christians. In reality, Amazing Lucas, his whole brand was boosted up by Turning Point. This is a former Turning Point USA ambassador, so his career was aided by Charlie Kirk's organization. He owes part of his success to...
I think I do remember those days too. That's crazy. And then you see the way he's sitting here talking about him, the way he's going after his wife.
Charlie Kirk. He was directly helped by him, but then he's like, oh my God, white people help me. Charlie Kirk stuck his hand into the gutter to lift me up. I can't deal with that. I can't deal with that cognitive dissonance. So I'm going to talk about how he harmed all these vague, undefined people. Shut up, Lucas.
When that's
but you see, funny enough, I can look at what you've done, and I can see somebody who is abhorrent and despicable and actually evil. Actually, the stuff when you target someone's widow as she grieves.
Once again, I disagree with the word targeting.
Again, Lucas might actually...
You keep cutting them off, kind of like I'm doing when I'm pausing. My bad, it's a reaction. But you notice how Lucas does that. He kept trying to do that to me when I debated him.
Be unwell because he listens to what Pierce says, and the only thing he objects to is the word targeting. But as we said before, Lucas quite literally used the definition of targeting in his defense of what he was doing. In his own description, he described targeting, but the man is too stupid to understand what he's actually doing. Again, this guy is very much in trouble. He very much needs his medication. Somebody help him.
When it comes to Republicans, when it comes to conservatives, they have to see.
I'll let you have your say.
I'm a mirror of what they have shown.
I'll let you have your say.
If they don't like what they see, they should actually detour.
I'm using your own.
Now, Lucas says that he's a mirror. I think he's trying to say the word mirror of Republicans' wicked behavior. And again, this is much like Destiny's behavior and how he justifies it, blaming it on Trump. And I will just point out to Lucas, Destiny, and all these ridiculous leftists that want a built-in excuse in order to not be held accountable. The only thing you can control is your own behavior.
I find this exceptionally sad because Lucas, you talk about how hurt you were and how offended you were by such despicable things, and then you became the thing that you found the most repulsive, which is alarming, and as I mentioned, deeply saddening. I would be more than happy to litigate some of Charlie's positions for you. I abjectly...
So Julie
Is that the person from Biggest Loser? Maybe.
Michaels ends up trying to counter Lucas's points, and Lucas gets really upset that she's actually bringing up counter arguments, so he decides to stay on topic and really push his message home. Oh wait, did I say that Lucas acted in a way that sounded logically? No, he decided to condemn Jillian.
Yeah, I was about to say, you confused me. I was like, what we watching? We watching the same thing? I don't think Lucas act like that. He ain't gonna do nothing mature. That's not the life he bout.
Michaels for adopting a black baby, which he describes as purchasing a black baby, because guess what? Lucas doesn't like the idea of white people taking care of black children when black people are unable to do so. Again, it makes him uncomfortable, the parenting situation going on in huge portions of the black community in the United States of America. So rather than, address those problems internally, he decides that he needs to go after Jillian Michaels for actually trying to provide a home for a black child.
I don't think I need any litigation from a woman who tried to downplay slavery, who tried to all lives matter slavery after she purchased a black child. That's what I would argue. I don't think you need to as far as
would
litigate
you like
anything.
to discuss it?
Okay,
Well,
especially you, who is the mother of a black child, who she purchased.
Right.
Other
Is
people
my turn to talk?
You purchased.
Is it?
By all means.
How did I? Okay, well, I'm not quite sure what you mean by purchase.
That's
She's
so
adopted, and it is
disgusting.
illegal.
Did you
to
pay?
purchase a child.
Did you pay?
You just said it was her turn to talk. Like, this nigga's right. Like, I'm telling you, this dude, something ain't right. He's so emotional right now. I would say you adopted no children, trying to take care of them. But then you want to sit there and cry about them because they're black. You don't care about their well-being. You're just using them for a talking point. Like, this is disgusting.
To get that
It's
child?
nasty as hell.
No, I paid the adoption agency.
It was
to do my
absolutely free.
study.
It was absolutely okay.
I
So
paid
then
the
there was a
adoption
process of payment.
agency like you.
So then there was a process
adopt
of
a child.
I
to
believe
an
that other
American
people adopt. You
adoption
purchased.
agency.
Also, and I think it is really important for me to point out that Lucas, despite the fact that he calls himself the amazing Lucas, appears to not be able to say the word palpable.
And I think that's a sentiment that is palpable.
Lucas, the word you're looking for is palpable.
Palpable.
Palpable?
No, Lucas, we are not becoming friends with the table. It is not pal-table. It is palpable, not palatable.
It's palpable.
And this whole
That's
entire
funny.
segment was an absolute disaster in every possible way. But again, as bad as Lucas is, this is exactly what you expect when you bring him onto this show. So really, it's shame on Piers Morgan. Let's be clear about that, because when you bring a crazy person on the show, because he said crazy things, you provide a wider audience for those crazy things, all to have him repeat them on the show so you can cut clips of him saying those crazy things just so you could sound virtuous by condemning him. I still blame you for providing a much wider audience to that. And for those of you who are saying, Sean, you're repeating what Lucas is saying, well, you're going to have to figure out that one for yourself. And again, my criticism is almost equal parts Piers Morgan as it is to Lucas, and Piers Morgan, way bigger platform than all of us. But you know what? Those are...
Oh, yeah, that's a valid point, too, as well. That's a valid point. Me personally, I don't care. Have whoever you want to have on your platform. I don't give a damn. As long as you grill them. As long as you grill them. Don't let them be out here just spewing some BS. But anyway, tell me what you guys think down in the comment section. Hit the like button and watch my other videos as well. What's going on? Apparently, Destiny is out here. Wow. He got a lot of consequences to answer for. Let's check this out. I think he might even got demonetized. Let's check this out, man. Hit the like button and watch more videos. see what's going down with Destiny.
September 18th, Destiny, a political streamer on Kick, shared a brief video on X expressing concerns about his YouTube channel's future. He revealed that his channel had been broadly demonetized without a specified reason, and speculated that it might soon face a permanent ban in the following clip.
I feel like my YouTube is going to...
Not a reason. I would think all the nasty stuff you were saying recently, or just in general. What? Or the pictures you were sending people, like, a lot.
get permaban soon because I got like broad demonetized yesterday for they didn't even cite a video. So I don't know. I'll appeal it. We'll see what happens. But I mean, if Kimmel is getting canceled from ABC, I don't know.
Destiny mentioned plans.
I think Kimmel's actually back too. Unfortunately, I didn't even see his speech.
To appeal the decision, but seemed skeptical about the outcome, drawing a comparison to late-night host Jimmy Kimmel's cancellation from ABC. This announcement followed a controversial statement he made on September 16th during a live stream. Reacting to Twitch streamer Hutch's broadcast, Destiny remarked that conservatives need to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events, suggesting that such fear could prompt them to seek leadership that would turn down the temperature. The comments quickly gained traction on platforms like Reddit, X, and TikTok, leading to widespread criticism. Many users...
Now he's sitting there playing victim like he ain't do nothing wrong. Now he's sitting there like he didn't say a damn thing. This is crazy.
Accused him of promoting political violence, with some referencing the assassination of a conservative figure as a consequence of such rhetoric.
Community member of ours, as a matter of fact, passed away a couple days ago. Asmongold's dad, Asmon Dad, unfortunately succumbed to a battle with pancreatic cancer.
Why is he talking about this? Why is this a topic for herself? Maybe I'm speaking too soon. Maybe he's not going to say something disgusting.
And he said, a few days ago, my father passed away. It's difficult for me to even find the words for the emptiness it leaves me with. He was my last family member in the state, and I was there with him until the end. I will endure, but I don't think I'll ever be the same. I love you, Pa, he says. His dad was a pretty chill dude. I never actually personally met him, but I know he was like in here.
I thought he was going to say something nasty.
Quite a bit, as a matter of fact. Check his last message in the chat. What did he say? Happy birthday, Hassan. Aw. Oh my God, he was a sound dandy as well. Yeah. That's sad. That makes me sad. He said, my son is not right wing. He would regularly try to pull Asmongold back to a sense of normalcy when he felt like he was going a little crazy. But obviously, this is like beyond politics. Regardless, I hope Asmongold's doing all right. And shouts out to Asmon Dad. You will be missed.
I thought he was going to be way disgusting with that. I'm glad he didn't go that route.
How he goes from "you're responsible for your mother's" to "my condolences to your father."
See, so he was being fake. Nothing but a PR move so he can claim he was reasonable later. Maybe changes. So changes when he knows he's under a microscope.
Nothing but a PR move so he can claim he was reasonable later. Behavior sure changes when he knows he's under the microscope. Listen, I hate Hassan, but effort is effort, even if it's done in a two-faced manner. He at least understands that this is optically a good thing, even if he doesn't mean it,
I disagree with that. Effort is effort, even if it's in a two-faced manner. No, it is not. That sounds nuts. That sounds crazy. Nah, that's not how it. Yeah, that's not how it works. Yeah, they're being fake, but as long as they're doing it, no.
BTW, I think he means it. Most people grasp how hard a parent's death is. See, was it really that hard to say something nice, Hassan? It's a rare base take from him, but I fear it might just be to look good in light of recent events. However, I hope it isn't just for that, because at the end of the day, beyond politics, we're all still human. It's fine to disagree with each other, but it should never result in calling for violence that harms anyone. Fanfan finally feels shame.
I've never...
I don't know, I don't care. Anyway. Tell me what you guys think down in the comment section about everything that you just saw. Tell me what you think. I'm gonna let y'all Give me your opinion. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Watch more videos. Hit the like button. Got some Destiny updates. Let's get straight into it, man. I'm going rapid fire out here in these streets. Hit the like button. See what the heck he talking.
And he can reapply after that period.
Random email, I think 2 days ago, before I went out 3 days ago. When was my event? On the 18th, saying that my YouTube channel, they reviewed it and they said that it was not on the safety creator guidelines for the whole channel. I don't know what that means. I've never gotten an email.
That's crazy how my lights went out. It probably means you was wild. That's what I think it mean. It mean you was wilding out. I think you was tripping, nigga. That's what I think it mean. Cause you were. And you lived that wild life. No, let's not even say wild. Debauchery. Just nasty. Depraved. Just foul lifestyle. Yeah.
Like that before, so they said that it's ineligible for monetization, and I can try to reapply in 90 days. I don't know what that means. I don't know if we can. I think August is looking into.
That means you could reapply in 90 days. But that it means that you tried to apply, they said no, and then you gotta reapply 90 days. But it means they just pearly things your shit is what that means. I'm trying to curse a little bit less. That might be the last curse y'all hear me say. It means they just pearly things your ish. And y'all was making a lot of fun of her when she was going through that. Let's see you go through it. This is a tall task. It's a tall order. Ain't you banned from the other platform too? Brother, your income is about to get cut up.
Into appealing it, but we recently reviewed your channel and found it is in violation of our creator responsibility guidelines. I don't even know what that means, and they didn't like list a particular video or anything.
That's a problem. Yeah, sometimes YouTube be wilding out. They'll list something and it's not really what it actually is. It'll be all over the place. 100%. But I know he was fat. I know Destiny's living nasty. So yeah, he's gonna get clipped. Now we could get them to have their eyes on Hassan. Right, and just make sure that all his nastiness, right, we could catch all of that
thing. So I'm hoping it was just like a mass report or whatever.
Right-wing cancel culture at work. Destiny has been clear over and over again that he is against political violence on all sides of the aisle, but they'd rather cancel him than have to deal with his actual points. Pathetic.
That's not true. In multiple ways. That he said the exact opposite of that actually. Multiple times.
Autopilot prevents car crash during live stream.
Yeah, that's crazy. We ain't gonna watch that. But yeah. Destiny is a wild person. That's a different type of individual right there. But tell me what you guys think down in the comment section. Does he deserve it? Who knows? Tell me what you think in the comment section.